Fall athletes are gearing up for conference play, and the men's soccer team fails to a familiar foe. Hello, I'm Madison Elliott.
And I'm Brendan Rigney, and you're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explorer Athletics, SportsLine. Welcome, welcome. We've got a great show for you today, as Tyler Harper will be joining us later for the latest edition of Exploring Headlines. And later after that, Cody Barr prepares you for some LaSalle sports action with her marquee matchup.
That's right, Brendan. But first, let's catch up on what went down this past week for the fall athletes. A portion of the women's cross-country team competed in the Mainline Invitational at Haverford College on Thursday, September 25th. Coach Peterson played only 5 runners, saving the top 10 for Lehigh this upcoming weekend. Taylor Hackett returned to the course after nursing an injury for the first 2 meets of the season, was the first Explorer to cross the finish line. The senior finished with a time of 18.1 minutes, good for 21st place in the field of 61 runners from local universities. Coming in close behind her was freshman Michelle Milan, who had her best place finish of her collegiate career, coming in 24th place with a time of 18.13.
The men's cross-country team battled unforgiving weather at the Mainline Invitational as well. Chris Berry paced the Explorers and came in 46th place with a time of 20 minutes and 45 seconds. Runner John Pluhos came in right behind Berry with a time of 22 minutes and 47 seconds, which secured him a place at 48th place, The rest of the LaSalle runners were not far behind, with the last runner, Trent Mangold, coming in at a time of 22 minutes and 44 seconds. The top 7 LaSalle men's runners did not compete in the event.
The field hockey team traveled to Lock Haven on Friday, the 26th. LaSalle overcame the Bald Eagle speed in the 25th minute as senior captain Colleen Kemp recorded her first goal of the season. Freshman Kendall Kreider sent a hard pass in the front of the cage, where Kemp connected to put LaSalle up 1-0. This would be the last time that LaSalle could penetrate the Lock Haven circle, as the Explorers were withheld from recording any shots on goal in the half. The Bald Eagles entered the second half with a vengeance, scoring twice in 10 minutes, putting LaSalle down by 1 as the final whistle blew. Goalkeeper Rachel Hartman recorded 10 saves on the game.
Well, the ladies certainly turned things around the following Sunday as they visited Maryland to play Towson University. LaSalle struck first on a goal by sophomore Devin Morocco and never looked back. They dominated the remainder of regulation, recording 19 shots on goal during the 70-minute game. Colleen Kemp added an insurance goal with less than 3 minutes, 10 seconds, her second point of the weekend, to give the Explorers the 2-0 victory. The shutout marks the first of the season and Hartman's first as a collegiate athlete.
Moving indoors, the volleyball team took the court on Friday. Here's Brendan with the coverage straight from the Gola Arena.
After a disheartening finish to the Big 5 tournament last weekend, the LaSalle volleyball team was out to prove itself. In what better way than the first Atlantic 10 conference play of the season as the St. Louis Billikens traveled to 20th and Awney. The fans were pumped, Coach Ramgala was eager. Even Go Explorers play-by-play artist Eddie Dunn was unusually excited, although one could not tell from his stoic, stone-chiseled disposition. Sadly, the excitement died in utero as LaSalle lost in 3 straight sets to the A10 foe. Set 1 was a disaster as the Billikens lit the Explorers up to win 25-11. Following this beatdown, St. Louis took off early in set 2 and never looked back. The team tried its hardest to remain in the contest, scoring 3 straight points to come within 7, but St. Louis sealed the deal before that comeback was realized. Set 3 was equally frustrating for the Explorers as they lost 25-15, despite 6 kills from the combined efforts of Kelly Perillo, Brianna Davis, and Phoebe Cook. Although the match looked reminiscent of last year's team, there were a few positive notes. Perillo had 6 kills against the Billikens, and Davis had 5 of her own. Despite the heavy loss, morale is high among the fans, as it is with Coach Ramgala and, of course, with our friend, Mr. Eddie Dunn. To top it off, there are still many games to be played by the team and Coach Remgela to hit their stride and improve. Reporting for SportsLine, I'm Brendan Rigney. Don't be a stranger.
Following Friday's game, the volleyball team took on the Dayton Flyers. The Explorers were out for redemption. However, Dayton immediately got things rolling as they tallied the match's first 9 points before LaSalle could get on the board. The blue and gold tried to pull it closer and salvage something, but the Flyers were too forceful and won the set 25-15. The second set was more of a challenge for Dayton. The two teams battled for most of the set before the Flyers pulled away and won 25-19. Set 3 was icing on the cake for Dayton as they won the match by easily handing the Explorers 25-9. The end result marked LaSalle's sixth consecutive loss.
Over the weekend, Florida Gulf Coast University took the East Coast plane ride up to the 20th and Albany to take on LaSalle women's soccer. We send it over to reporter Anna Gomez, who gives us the play-by-play from McCarthy Stadium.
It was the hottest day in weeks as the LaSalle women's soccer team prepared to take on Florida Gulf Coast Sunday, September 28th. The Explorers in yellow had the support of their families and friends against the 7-3 Eagles. Florida Gulf Coast took a lead midway through the first half with a goal scored by Paulina Speckmeyer, and it was clear that the Explorers were meeting their match. It was an intense battle between the two teams. Number 15, Kelsey Haycock, and number 7, Kristen Hogstad, proved to be strong adversaries to the Eagles' defense. At the 42nd minute mark, number 16, Jessica Kagan, with an assist by Mary Kate Bateman, made a picture-perfect shot into goal, tying the game just in time to end the first half. The second half began just as the first half, with both teams wrestling for possession. Florida's Tabby Tyndall scored a goal in the 52nd minute. With an assist by Mariam Husseini, number 1, Carrie Aiken, took a shot at goal, tying the game again, this time 2-2. As the second half concluded, the game was plunged into overtime. The tension was thick, Florida trying to maintain their strong record, and LaSalle trying to break out into a winning season 5-2-1. However, Tabby Tyndall made her second goal for Florida 3 minutes into overtime, finalizing the score 3-2 Florida Gulf Coast. Women's soccer hosts the George Washington Colonials this Friday at McCarthy Stadium at 7 p.m. Good luck to our Explorers.
Thanks, Anna. On Saturday, September 26th, the men's team traveled to Manhattan as they hope to continue their win streak from the previous week. The Jaspers did not make this an easy task for the blue and gold, as 90 minutes of regulation passed without either team scoring a goal. However, overtime would only last about 7 minutes, as LaSalle sophomore Colin Kennedy cashed in on a Joe Farrell pass from Mike Liska corner kick. LaSalle goaltender Mike Kirk recorded his second straight shutout in the overtime victory, tallying 4 saves in the process.
Well, unfortunately, the men's soccer team's 3-game winning streak came to an end on Wednesday, October 1st against Soccer 6 rival Villanova. The Wildcats took command early as they registered the first goal in the 14th minute. It would only take another 3 minutes and the Wildcats tallied another goal, putting LaSalle down by 2. This woke up LaSalle and they ignited an offensive rally. However, none of their shots got past Nova goalkeeper Will Steiner. The Wildcats put the nail in the coffin in the 56th minute and gave LaSalle 3-0 loss.
As mentioned in last week's marquee matchup, the club ice hockey team competed in the first ever City 6 ice hockey tournament. Ice hockey correspondent Audrey Brush gives us the recap. Take a look.
The LaSalle Club ice hockey team had a game this past Friday against Temple University. The boys started out strong for the first 8 minutes of the game, but an early goal took the boys' spirits. Temple came out shooting low shots and 3 went in right in front of the crease. The team got frustrated and didn't stick to the game plan. The aggression picked up as 2 more goals were scored in the end of the second period, leaving the score 8-0. In the third period, the crowd was optimistic that the Explorers would bring on the heat. The Explorers took shot after shot, but Temple had a strong defense. The Explorers did well at defense too, because in the final period, no goals were scored. LaSalle lost 8-0 to Temple. It was a tough loss, but the boys gave it their best shot.
Tell her that. Friday, September 26th throughout Sunday the 28th, the LaSalle women's tennis team participated in the St. Joe's Invitational. Freshmen Jayla Smith and Catherine Thomas teamed up for doubles play in Flight 2 for the Explorers, but could not notch a victory after losing 8-1. Both were then shut out 8-0 during their consolation match. Freshman Alexandra Santorelli participated in singles Flight 2 and couldn't come up with a win either after being shut out in the first 2 sets, 6-0. Also in singles flight, 2 was redshirt senior Caitlin Coelho, who fell short after losing the first 2 sets of her match, preventing her from advancing in the tournament.
The ladies looked for redemption on Wednesday, October 1st against a tough Division III competitor. They traveled to face Gwynedd Mercy College and notched their first win of the young season. The afternoon brought much success for Explorers as they trumped the Griffins 8-1. Individual results have yet to be released.
This past weekend for the men's tennis team proved to be a true struggle. The men's squad headed out to take on Wagner on Friday, the 26th, only to be devoured by the Sea Wolves 7-0. Senior Deshaun Fennell was in the top single spot and put up a fight even though he lost the sets 6-3, 7-6, and 4-0. The same went for second spot sophomore Brian Balico, who fell 7-5 and 6-3. The rest of the team couldn't pull themselves together either. It was not the brightest day on the Staten Island for the Explorers.
On Tuesday, September 30th, the team headed out to Kutztown. Hoping to bounce back on the court, sophomore Mark Robinson answered his loss on the island and won his singles and doubles match alongside Brian Balico. Sadly, he was the only Explorer to score points for the team. The rest of the squad struggled with heartbreaking singles matches dropped by Tom McLeod and Brian Balico. The Explorers headed home, losing 7-2.
In hopes of uncovering more about the team, we invited sophomore Mark Robinson into the studio to sit down with our Gavin Lichtenstein to discuss all things tennis. Take a look.
Hello and welcome. I'm Gavin Lichtenstein, and I am on the sidelines with Mark Robinson of the LaSalle University tennis team. Mark, thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to sit down and spend some time with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, from what I hear, earlier this week, you were at the St. Joseph Invitational. Now, how was that?
It was a really good experience. We always look forward to the St. Joe's Invitational because it's a time of the year when we get a lot of good talent, especially in the fall season when we don't see a lot of the D1 teams that we'll see in the spring season. But it was a great experience. We didn't do as well as we hoped. One of our seniors, actually Tom McLeod, had a really big win in singles, and that was probably the highlight for us in that tournament.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it also at the spring schedule, and I'm seeing that you have the Penn City 6 tournament coming up in February. Now, what do these Philadelphia tennis tournaments really mean? Does it mean anything that you're competing against Temple, you're competing against St. Joe's, Villanova, such pride in such a small city or a big city?
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely anytime you play a school in the area such as St. Joe's, Temple, Villanova, there's certainly some sort of rivalry there, and we definitely get more excited for those matches, so we're really looking forward to that tournament.
That's it. Now, you're one of the unique players that plays both sides of the court. You're you play singles and doubles. Mm-hmm. Now, which one do you actually prefer? Do you have one that you prefer over the other?
I'd say I prefer singles a little bit more, only because I like the idea that you're the only one on the court, and all the pressure falls on you. Yeah. Whether you win, it's because of you. Whether you lose, it's because of you. But I also do very much enjoy doubles.
And now I'm looking at the schedule ahead, and you have Chestnut Hill on October 3rd, and then St. Peter's. Now, which do you see one being more challenging than the others?
I look at Chestnut Hill, and I see, only because we've had some tough matches with them in the past. We didn't get to play them last year, but the year before, there was a really close match. I think it was 4-3 in their favor. So that's probably one we're really looking forward to, try to get the win.
Now, you're a Jersey boy. You're right around the neighborhood, and you actually went to a Christian Brothers high school. Now, at what age did you start playing tennis?
I'd say I started playing tennis around age 10. The first time I played was when I visited my grandparents in Dominican Republic, and I started hitting there, and I just kind of fell in love with the game.
Fantastic. And what kind of now, since you're so close, who would you say do your parents often come to the matches, or who would you say is your biggest supporter?
I'd definitely say my mom. Yeah. She's a tennis instructor. Wow. So it's tennis kind of runs in the family a little bit. My dad also plays, but my mom has been to every match, and she's been through the worst ones and the best ones. So I'd say probably my mom would be my biggest supporter.
Now, many people, when they watch tennis, they watch the Wimbledon and they watch the National Tour and the U.S. Open, And many people say this is great, but it's too slow. Now, from a player's perspective, how do you address the notion that people feel the game's too slow?
Well, I'd say kind of being out there on the court with such a slow game, it kind of builds the anticipation, and the fact that the fans aren't really supposed to cheer that much. It's supposed to be kind of a quiet atmosphere.
Yeah.
It really kind of tests how mentally tough you are performing in that kind of environment when everyone's watching you, and you could hear a pin drop, and it's very slow, and your muscles might get tight, and I just think it makes it such a more competitive game.
Yeah, and one thing that they always, so if someone was to play your iPod, if someone was just to put on your iPod right now, what song would they most likely hear?
Right now, they put on my iPod. I don't know. I have a wide range of music that I listen to. It could be either Eminem or Destiny's Child.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of get the full spectrum on there.
The full spectrum.
Yeah.
So you go from Eminem to Destiny Child.
Yeah, you know.
What song from Destiny Child, might I ask?
I don't know. I love them all.
Hey, that is not a bad answer. That is actually the answer we were looking for here at SportsLine. But, Mark, so now going ahead, you've stayed very healthy this year. How has the rest of the team been? Have they also been healthy, or have you guys had your challenges in that aspect?
We've actually had a few injuries. One of our first singles player, Deshaun's been fighting tendonitis in his shoulder for a while, and but kind of minor stuff that we basically go to the trainer, we get ice after practice and after matches, just to take more like preventative measures. Nothing too serious that will keep us off the court, but definitely something we have to keep an eye on now.
Now I'm looking at the season's wrapping up, your fall season's wrapping up.
Yes.
Now, what's that hiatus like until February when you're back on the court? I mean, hopefully you get there before the snow does.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly a lull between the fall and the spring season. It's but we do a good job, and we get into the training room with Scott. And we usually go 3 workouts a week in the morning, and we'll hit indoors probably 2 to 3 times a week.
Excellent.
In the winter, just to keep us loose, keep us ready for that spring season.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time off the court to come here. Your time is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Gavin Wingside. Thank you for joining us for another edition of the SportsLine interview.
Thanks for the insight, Gavin. Moving from the courts to the greens, the LaSalle men's golf team competed at the George Mason Intercollegiate in Lorton, Virginia, on Sunday, September 28th and Monday, September 29th. Senior Greg Goodrids and sophomore Joe Markman led the way for the Explorers by tying with 3 individuals for 50th place out of the 100-man field with 3-round scores of 12 over par. As a team, the Explorers put together a 3-round total of plus 43, good enough to place them 13th in the 17-team field. Well, we're going to take another quick break, but when we return, Tyler Harper, yes, Tyler Harper, joins us for some exploring headlines, so please stick around.
LaSalle University's 3rd annual Explore Your Health Community Health Fair, offering bouncy houses, face paintings, massages and meditation, student performances, LaSalle athletic teams, nutrition tips, prizes, and more. Come out on October 4th from 12 to 3 p.m. at the shops at LaSalle, 5301 Chew Ave.
There's something for everyone at LaSalle TV. I watch LaSalle TV.
I watch LaSalle TV. The baseball team watches LaSalle TV.
I watch LaSalle TV.
I watch LaSalle TV.
Miro Televisión de LaSalle.
Vedo io la televisione LaSalle.
Я дивлюсь LaSalleську телевізію і дуже вона мене цікавить.
我睇電視. And you can too. Follow us, like us, and watch us on LaSalle TV.
Welcome back. Here to join us now for this week's Exploring Headlines, please welcome Tyler Harper of Sports Talk Philadelphia fame. Take it away, Tyler.
Thanks, Brendan. Let's get to it. These past 2 weeks, LaSalle's golf team has been steadily improving, thanks in no small part to redshirt sophomore PJ Asierno. Seeming to agree with this logic, the Atlanta 10 Conference has named Asierno a 10 Golfer of the Week. The sophomore was on point at the Rutgers Invitational, where he shot the second lowest score in program history. The Philadelphia Soccer Six had its own awards to hand out this week, including one to each of men's soccer players, Joe Farrell and Mike Kirk. Farrell, a junior midfielder, was named Player of the Week for his help in both teams' victories last week. After netting the game winner against Bucknell, Farrell set up the go-ahead score in overtime for the Explorers in their bout with Manhattan. At the other end of the field, junior goalkeeper Mike Kirk was given Defensive Player of the Week honors after notching 2 shutouts. He snagged 7 saves against Bucknell before nabbing 4 more in the win over Manhattan. There's a new face rooming the halls of the Heyman Center. The former North Penn High School swimming coach Selma Robinson has been hired as the new assistant coach for the men's and women's swimming team. In her 10 years of service at the local high school, North Penn swim team earned an impressive 10 league championships, while 14 individuals garnered All-American status. Interested in reliving all the incredible achievement in LaSalle Athletics garnered this last year? The Athletics has released its annual report this past week. In the week highlights the best performances and teams and individuals from all 3 seasons. The colorful report shows off the successes of LaSalle Athletics and can be found online at goexplorers.com. And finally, we here at SportsLine are always look to keep tabs on former LaSalle athletes. It's a time-honored tradition that we look forward to maintaining each year. So, it's with great pleasure to report that former men's soccer goaltender John McCarthy has been named the USL Goalkeeper of the Year and Rookie of the Year. Arguably the best goalkeeper to play at McCarthy Stadium, he holds the program records for saves, shutouts, and games played. The LaSalle grad finished his 18-game season in the United Soccer Leagues with 10 shutouts, which helped him lead the league in goals against average of 2.72.
Thanks for joining us, Tyler. We appreciate you coming on, and it's great to hear that McCarthy is doing so well. So now that we've covered the past, let's look to the future. SportsLine correspondent Cody Barr brings us this week's marquee matchup, and it's sure to be a doozy. Take it away, Cody.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Marquee Matchup. I'm Cody Barr, and I'm here to tell you which upcoming LaSalle game is going to be highlighting this week's action. This coming week is stacked full of Atlantic 10 conference games, but the most exciting is coming to us from DeVincent Field. The field hockey team is facing off against Richmond University on Sunday at 12:30 in their 3rd A10 game of the season. The Spiders are coming off an impressive outing last season where they finished 2nd in the conference and led the nation in goals against average and save percentage. The Spiders are currently 6-4 overall, but remain undefeated in the conference. LaSalle has a rough history with the Spiders as well, losing each time they took the field together since 2006. Last year, the Explorers dropped the game 2-7. If the Explorers hope to finally overcome Richmond and fight for a spot in the conference tournament in October, they're going to need to look to these players on the turf. Sophomore Rachel Hartman has quickly made a name for herself here at 20th and Alny. The first-year starter currently holds the 6th place spot in the nation in average saves per game and 4th in save percentage. She's faced 125 shots in her 8 games of service, totaling 60 saves and only 12 goals. To win, Hartman needs to stay poised and confident in the cage. She's the leader of the defense and needs to continue to direct her back line so she can be in the best position to ward off any Spider offensive. Also deserving attention is Hartman's fellow sophomore Devin Morocco. The forward has earned herself a starting position in the last 3 games and has made her presence known in the attacking half. She leads the team in goals and assists, which shows her versatility in the circle. If she comes into the game with fresh legs and determination, there's no stopping her. When senior captain Colleen Kempf is subbed out, Morocco needs to be able to lead the front line, which is heavily supported by the freshman class. Now that we've touched on some individuals, let's see what aspects of play the team needs to hone in on in order to secure the victory. As mentioned previously, Richmond has a reputation for having a very tight defense. Luckily, LaSalle has seen great success in their forward line formation. They've used their depth to their advantage, rotating forwards in and out every 5 minutes to keep their legs fresh enough to play at their top speed and effort for the entire game. At this point in the season, each of the forwards are comfortable in each position, regardless of who else is in at the time. In order to overcome the Spiders, they need to continue rotating the attacking line and utilizing the speed, agility, and versatility they have. Another area of focus needs to be individual defense in the circle. LaSalle typically demonstrates great distribution skills in their defensive half, moving the ball from the back to the midfield smoothly. They are unable to do this, however, when defenders don't put themselves in proper position. When individual defense gets sloppy, the Explorers fall apart, as was seen late in the second half in the game against Davidson. Sloppy 1v1 defense allows for opponents to draw corners, keeping LaSalle from gaining and holding possession. Staying on their marks and playing disciplined defense will prove important to the outcome of the game. Well, that does it for this week's marquee matchup. Don't forget to head over to DeVincent Field on Sunday at 12:30 to watch this highly anticipated conference matchup. For SportsLine, I'm Cody Barr. Go Explorers!
Well, that just about wraps it up for us this week. If you can't make it out to see the marquee matchup, make sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Be sure to keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by following us on Twitter at SportsLineLTV. We post game updates and sneak peeks into the upcoming show.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions about the show on either website.
For Madison, Tyler, and our entire SportsLine team, I'm Brendan Rigney. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at the game.